All right guys, in this video I'm going to show you what it means if your check engine light's flashing. Today we have our loaner minivan and the check engine light's flashing, so we're going to figure that out. All right, so when the check engine light is flashing, it means that the engine is misfiring and not running on all cylinders. I've used this basic code reader to retrieve the codes out of the car's computer. I'll put a link below where you can pick one of these up from Amazon, but it's just a basic reader that allows me to determine what's going on here. And what we have is a P0306. And what that means, that specific code means that it's misfiring on cylinder number 6. And we'll show you guys under the hood kind of what that looks like. Okay, so what I've done here is I've found this firing order. You can typically find the firing order online someplace for your particular vehicle. You'll need to look up the vehicle and the specific engine that you have. In this case, we have a 3.3 liter V6, which means that there are 6 cylinders that could potentially be misfiring. And we know because of the code reader, we have a P306 code, which means that it's misfiring on the number 6. On the front, you can see these spark plug wires here. There's a wire that goes to each cylinder specifically. And on this case, we have, you can see 2, 4, and 6. And again, we had the misfire showing up on the code reader on number 6. And sure enough here, for the demonstration of this video, we disconnected this spark plug wire so that it would misfire on number 6. So if we plug this back on, the check engine light is going to go away. It's no longer going to flash. The engine's going to run smoothly. Okay, so if your engine is misfiring, it's most likely not going to be running very good as well. It may be sputtering and smelling bad, or as you go to accelerate, it's really going to run really poor and sputter. And it may be misfiring on more than one cylinder. You may have like a P302, which means it'd be misfiring on number 2. Also, what we commonly see is a P0300 code, which means that it's misfiring on all of the cylinders randomly. And that's pretty common as well. There is quite a few things that will cause an engine to misfire. And what I'm going to do is show you guys a little bit on what those possibilities are and kind of give you a basic understanding of what's happening when the engine is misfiring. Okay, so we've got this really cool drawing pad here, and I'm going to use my art skills and make you guys kind of a diagram of a basic engine and see if I can explain to you what's going on when your engine's misfiring. So first of all, what you have on each cylinder, you have what's called a piston. And this piston is constantly moving up and down. This is kind of the common part inside of an engine that everybody kind of knows about. And it's connected to a rod that then connects to a crankshaft. And it's constantly moving up and down there. Now, if you have a 6-cylinder like we do on the minivan, you're going to have 6 of these pistons. 4-cylinder, you're going to have 4. So what you've got to figure out, like on the P306, where we're getting that number 6 misfire, it's going to be caused from one of a few different issues. And what we commonly see is issues with spark. And what we have here is on the top of the cylinder, you're going to have what's called a spark plug, and that ignites the fuel. And over here you have what's called a fuel injector. What happens is the fuel sprays into the cylinder, and then it gets ignited from this spark plug here. And then you have a valve, they call it an intake valve on the engine, and then you have an exhaust valve. What happens is the combustion happens when the spark and the fuel ignite. The intake and exhaust valves open and close, and it pushes the exhaust out of the engine. So these are constantly moving up and down in time with each other. If there's an interference with any of that motion, you can have a problem. So an engine can be misfiring due to a mechanical problem like the piston here. The rings can weaken up, and it'll lower the amount of compression that's inside the engine. And that is one reason that we see that causes an engine to misfire. Or something's wrong with these valves here. These valves don't seat correctly. That's another thing that we see that's mechanical. On modern engines, if they're taken care of, they last a long time, and we don't see a lot of internal damage to engines. Sometimes it does happen. But what we more commonly see is problems with the spark plug. So like we did on that number 6 cylinder, we had the number 6 spark plug basically disconnected because we had that wire that was connected to the coil pack just actually disconnected from the coil pack. So what was happening there is there wasn't getting any spark to that cylinder. So if your engine is misfiring and that's flashing, you want to start by looking at your spark plugs first. Make sure there's no cracks in the spark plug. There isn't any arcing on the wire. The other thing that can cause the spark to have a problem is right here, that coil that was on that minivan there. These can fail and it'll cause it to where the spark won't come out of the wire down into the spark plug. More modern engines don't have a wire here, and they have the coil on top of the spark plug, and commonly we see problems with the coil. And on a more modern engine than this particular minivan, you'll have 6 coils rather than 1 big coil pack. Over here, you've got your fuel injector. So if your spark is good and you know that your coil's good, the spark plug's good, you're getting plenty of spark on that cylinder and it's still misfiring, then you're going to want to look at fuel. If this injector is not spraying the amount of fuel into the cylinder to make it run correctly, it's going to misfire. Commonly we see these injectors get gummed up and they just don't spray the fuel, or they spray actually way too much and then it drowns out the spark, and that also happens. Another thing that can happen with fuel is if your fuel pump in your tank isn't supplying your fuel injectors with enough fuel, then sometimes that can actually be the cause of the misfire as well. But typically, if it's a fuel pump or a fuel pressure problem, you'll have all the cylinders misfiring. So you'll have every single cylinder misfiring if it's that case. If it's one specific cylinder, it's going to be either that spark plug, that injector, coil, or unfortunately you may have an internal engine problem with the piston or the valves. In that case, to test that, you need to do either a compression test and or a leak down test on the valves, which definitely is something you would probably want to seek out an experienced mechanic to perform those testing for you. All right, so hopefully this video was helpful and you're able to diagnose the misfire going on with your vehicle. If you need some more help, do make some comments below. We're regularly on here responding to people and helping them with their problems, so definitely comment below and we'll do our very best to respond to those. Also, we'll put some links in the description below that will have some information to some helpful engine topics and some things that might help you if your engine is also misfiring.